On deck, we have Danita. Does everyone call you Danita Applebum? Does anyone ever? It rolls off the tongue so easily, doesn't it? I love it. I love that song. All right, that wasn't funny. That was just a little song for me. All right, you guys, come to the stage right now. Make it loud for Ewan. Go!
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah!
I got my little bag of tricks here. Got a lot of time. I got 10 minutes, all right. Let me take a hit of this really quick. That's pretty stupid. Here's something, I don't know if you see this. Can you guys all see this?
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, boom! Alright. Let me tell you a story. Alright, it's a little story in Japan, right? These two sisters, Naomi and Sashi, right? Sashi is the older one, Naomi's the younger one. And Naomi was very beautiful, right? Everyone would always say, oh wow, Naomi's so beautiful. Hey Sashi, isn't your sister so beautiful, right? And they drive Sashi crazy, you know? And one day Sashi killed Naomi, you know, and threw her body into the ocean, right? It's Japan. Anyway, so one day a fisherman finds a body, right? And it's got like no arms and no legs, and her eyes are like wide open, and her mouth is open, but the sound keeps coming from her mouth, right? Keeps going, Naomi, Naomi, Naomi. And he's like, what the hell is this, right? So he takes to the scientists and shit, right? And they can't figure anything out either. They're like, what the hell is this? They're like, I don't know, but well, first let's try to identify her, right? So they put her picture in the paper and shit, and they're like, oh, come, you know, everyone come look at this lady, right? Try to help identify her, right? And at first, Sashi's like freaked out, right? She's like, holy crap. But eventually she's like, all right, I'll go, you know, because everyone's going. So she goes, there's like this long ass line. And then, you know, she gets shorter. Finally, it's her turn. And then, you know, the whole thing is like you're supposed to ask questions or whatever. And then she goes up there, she's like, oh shit. And then she's like, where do you come from? She's like, Naomi. She's like, what are you doing here? Naomi. She's like, who killed you? You! Okay, that's another story. My name's Iwana. I'm born and raised in LA. Oh no, let me try this stuff. Okay, you know that bridge? Whatever, the bridge stuff that came down? Yeah, I'll never drive on a fucking bridge after that shit. But yeah, it was called the Francis Scott Key Bridge, you know? Which is kind of ironic, right? It's like, oh, say, can you see? Look out for that fucking boat! Anyway, that boat, it was registered for, it came from Singapore and shit, right? I was like, god damn it, you know, fucking Asian driver, fuck. And they said on the news that it was really big, right? It was weighed like 200 million pounds. It's pretty heavy, you know? And they said actually it was even heavier, it was 300 million pounds. But my ex-wife, you know, got off before it crashed into the thing. So it was pretty funny. My name's Leonis. Yeah, it's like born and raised in California. But, I grew up mostly near Pasadena, but I come to LA, you know, during the weekends to like help out my parents and shit. Like you ever go to a liquor store and you see some little Asian kid in the back like doing homework, whatever? Yeah, that was me. Every now and then I have to translate for my parents and shit. It's kind of weird, right? Because they're the parents, you know. They'd be like, hey mom, this policeman says he's gonna give you a ticket for driving too slow on the freeway. Yeah, he says you gotta go faster than 35. Yeah, I did join the Army, first Cavalry Division 4 in Texas. It was pretty cool, you know. Kind of weird being the only Asian person, though. Every day, people were just looking at me like, are we supposed to shoot this guy? Yeah, it's pretty cool being there. You get some good benefits, right? But probably the best benefit is the ability to give old men hard-ons. Yeah, old men, they love hearing Army stories, you know. Doesn't matter what race they are. I guess because it makes them feel younger or gives them hope for the future or something. Like if I meet an old man at a park or something, and I start telling them Army stories, then they come all over me. Yeah, your parents ever hit you when you were little? Yeah, my mom, she used to get a coat hanger and shit. She'd make me stick my hands out, she'd fucking hit my hands and shit. I was like, what the hell? What kind of Chinese torture fucking shit is this? You know? Can't you just hit me with a belt or something? Like, fuck. What next? You gonna give me an algebra test? Make me carry buckets of water up the hill or something? Yeah. So this was another one. Yeah, I was talking to this Persian guy the other day. He was like, you're Persian? From Persia? Like, yeah, where are you from? He's like, oh, I was like, I don't know, the Han Dynasty? Alright, I know it's like a lot of like anti-gay cultures are actually quite gay, you know? Like Arab culture, for example. Like they're notorious for being harsh on their LGBTQ. Yet their men openly holding hands in the street. You know, how hypocritical is that, right? They're like, don't act gay! La 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 la. The Russians, right? They're like world famous for being violent towards their LGBTQ. But I was watching the Olympics once, and after this gymnast did his jump, instead of high-fiving his teammate, he kissed him on the mouth. And it wasn't just a peck either. They were like really going at it. Like, we don't tolerate the homosexuality in Russia. Come, Vladimir. Very strange. Yeah, it seems in certain cultures, men enjoy like a certain level of intimacy with each other that we just kind of lack out here, you know? And I kind of see, you know, because I was in the Army and stuff. Like, the Army's really anti-gay, you know? Because it's so gay. It's like you're constantly like forced in these situations where you're like surrounded by other dudes. You're either totally naked or mostly naked. You know, like the shower's a perfect example, right? There used to be this one guy like he'd be there every time with a rock hard boner. Yeah. At the time, the policy of gay people was like don't ask, don't tell. Nobody had to ask this guy if he was gay or not. Like, knocking over shampoo bottles and shit. Yeah, it's shocking seeing it. You know, you walk in the shower room and you're like, what the fuck? At ease, soldier. You know, in the Army, you're supposed to be hardcore, but not that hard, not that core. Yeah, I was watching the Oscars the other day. You guys see the Oscars? I was like getting excited. I was like, hey, they're bringing back the Mummy. But then I saw, I was like, oh no, that's just Al Pacino. Yeah, some people get overboard with the salty food and stuff. Like, I was cooking my brother, my buddy did breakfast the other day. And before he even tasted it, he just started pouring salt all over it shit. I was like, dude, I think those pancakes are salty enough. Yeah. I got a really bad haircut about a couple months ago. That was really bad. Like, you ever get a haircut so bad that people start treating you differently? And they're like, man, this guy must have severe intellectual disability or something. Like, look at that shit. Yeah, waitress at the Denny's time with a bib around my neck and shit. Yeah, I was watching this documentary about World War II, and it seemed like the whole time during World War II, like the British soldiers were complaining about the American soldiers, like taking their women and stuff. They even had a saying. They'd always say like, "Well, the problem with the Yanks is that they're overpaid, oversexed, and overhealed." They all be like laughing and shit. Yeah, would you prefer the Nazis, you ungrateful bastards? Yeah, Asian, you know. Asian people, we love Jews, you know. We're like, Sensei, please teach us. Jewish people don't like us too much, you know. And I think I know why. It's because of our eyes. It's because if you look, like, it's not that my eyes are slanted or small or whatever. It's that Asian people have an extra layer of skin over our eyelids. It's basically a foreskin, right? And you know how Jews feel about foreskins. Yeah. I'll do this last joke. This is a hard joke, but it's got a good punchline. Alright, anyway, it's the voodoo dick joke, right? A long time ago, this guy, a successful businessman, and he goes on a faraway trip to a very foreign land, right? He goes to a magical antique shop, and the number one item in that magical antique shop is the voodoo dick, right? And so he knows what this is. He's like, oh, I gotta have this, right? And the guy's like, no way. He's like, I'll give you $1 million. The guy's like, okay. So anyway, he takes it home, goes, shows his wife. His wife's like, what the hell is this? Right? And he's like, all right, check this out. Voodoo dick, dog's ass, right? Voodoo dick jumps out the box, starts fucking dog's ass, right? And then she's like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, look, voodoo dick's the box. And so pops out dog's ass, jumps back in the box, right? And he's like, yeah, you can use this or whatever, like when I'm on like away on a business trip or whatever. And she's like, I'm never gonna use that, it's gross. It's like, whatever, I don't know. You know, happy anniversary. Anyway, a couple months later passed, and he goes on another long business trip, right? This is a really long one. And after a couple months, she's like, well, you know, that voodoo dick, you know? So she's like, all right, let's try it. You know, voodoo dick my vagina, right? And so it starts working on it, right? And then she's like, hey, you know, this has worked pretty good. But then, you know, because it's been a couple months, she forgot how to turn it off and shit. So she's like, fuck. And so, but she has to go to work. So she just like puts her clothes on over it. And then she shows up to work, she's like, oh, The boss like, hey, what's wrong with you? She's like, nothing. Oh, He's like, no, there's definitely something wrong with you. What is it? She's like, no, it's nothing. And he's like, no, you better tell me or else you're gonna be fired, right? She's like, all right. And she's like explaining to him, he's like, it's a thing called the voodoo dick. He's like, what? Voodoo dick my ass. Alright, my name is Iwano, I'm out of here.
Fuck yeah! I think his name actually is Iwanu now. I'm actually not sure. Danny Honda, Michael, whatever the fuck. Fuck yeah, he won. Alright.